what's up, everybody? I'm Larice. This is Walter, and we are here to talk about Evil Episode 4.
Evil.
This episode really brought the show up. It definitely kicked it up a notch, so I'm really excited to talk about this episode.
Is there something about putting really cute kids in with really creepy kids that just stirs it up? It really
I love
freaked me
anything
out.
creepy kid related.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, a lot of people have questions. Who was playing the game in the very beginning? This episode drew us in right away because of that beginning. It started off with this game.
Very X-Files beginning.
Yes, very X-Files beginning. I think a couple people mentioned that it was very X-Files. We see these shoes. This doesn't look like one of the girls.
No, definitely
So I'm
not.
wondering if this is actually Rose, that character that came in later, or if Rose is a demon or not. We don't know who Rose was.
I don't think this is the person who is Rose in the game. So this person feels like they're experiencing the game for the first time. Not a hacker, not an experience,
Now
not
this
a
could be
demon.
Eric. Maybe Eric played the game.
It could have been Eric, but again, the room is very different.
You could definitely see, like, it panned off to the side. It looked like there was a living room almost right there. Like, they
Right.
were in a living room, and that
Right.
was their dining room. So I think this is an adult. And it's very possible because Ben had dismissed this Rose character to being some creepy adult that just jumped into the game with the girls.
I personally don't think it's an adult because there's something about he hesitates. He almost says, I'm not 17.
Right, okay.
And then he says, oh, I want to play like an adult. I want to see what the adult stuff is.
We don't know who Rose 390 is. It could be a demon. It could have been Eric.
I think it's Emerson.
Leland. You think it might be Leland.
Leland James?
The girl said, you can't get rid of me, and then Ben blocked her, and then she still came back. So he just thought it was an adult messing with the girls.
Well, I think that's rude to assume the demon is a pedophile.
We have the three of them visiting the house of what is seemingly a normal family. We have
Well, I don't know about that. I get the vibe right away from the parents.
when they answer the door here, their oldest daughter who answers the door.
Right.
The parents seem okay.
She seems okay.
They have a baby. It seems like a normal family. Hey, come on in. And then when you come in and then you take a look around, you see they have padlocks on the kitchen cabinets. They have padlocks on the fridge. The parents say they have to all lock up a room and sleep together in the same room because they're afraid the kid's going to come in the middle of the night and kill them. They don't want to go in the room because they have the baby, and they say he's aggressive towards the baby.
Right.
Just a little bit unsettling to David and Ben and Kristen.
The paranormal Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Oh, see, right away, the kid's haircut is
Maybe
just
that's why
creepy.
he's acting bad. They gave him such a horrible haircut.
So, he says he likes hurting her, but the way he
hesitated.
Yeah, it sounds like he's saying what he's supposed to say kind of thing. Or, you know what I mean? There's something, I don't know if coerced is the right word, but it doesn't feel wholehearted.
He did hesitate because when she first asked, did you like hurting your sister? He didn't really answer. He kind of looked away. He was definitely unsure. And then he said, like, this is my story. I think all of this is for attention.
There's something neglectful about the parents. I don't think it's just a matter of the parents being afraid and avoidant.
They said he's been evaluated psychologically 12 times. He's been on and off medicines that work for a short time and then don't work. I guess the police have been involved or called to his school 3 different times.
Right.
He's been in 2 different facilities, medical facilities, and then a federal facility. And I'm assuming that's also a psychiatric facility. They kept him for a week and they released him. I don't see how they could do that. If he's dangerous, how they could not have him in some type of
there's something
facility.
suspicious. I don't trust these parents one bit. It's almost like something you would discover in like one of these enclaves of religious zealots,
Like cult communities.
Yeah,
Right.
there's something very cult-like about these parents. There's something bizarre.
So basically, this is their only explanation. This is the only thing they can have. I don't know if they really believe that he has a demon, but this is their last resort.
Again, I don't trust the mother.
So Grandma is making up for missing their birthdays or forgetting them, even though they just celebrated one. So she gives one pair of these AR, augmented reality, goggles, a pair, which is bad.
Yeah,
Why
girls
would you do that?
Yeah, kids like to share.
Kids like to share. No, you need to get one for each of them.
This is not going to end well.
That's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, she did not check what was available to play on these goggles. So, of course, out of all of the games they can play, they don't want to play with the bunnies. They want to play the haunted girl.
Although, for the record, I found the bunnies to be very creepy.
The bunnies were super creepy.
Yeah,
It
they're
might
just
have been
hopping everywhere.
scarier. You know, we didn't investigate that game. There could have been some scary stuff in that game, too.
That's true.
The question that they asked in the beginning, are you 17 years or older, or are you pregnant, or have a heart condition? And they say no. But the older girl says they're asking if we're pregnant. And they don't mention the heart condition, but we do know the younger daughter has a heart condition. So I wonder if the older girls know about the younger girl's heart condition.
Or they don't want to. They want to play. They don't want to be held back by it.
Maybe?
Yeah. But I think there's also a bigger issue here. You know, how many things, especially internet things, that say, oh, are you 18 or older? And it's up to, like, the kid or whoever to say yes or no.
Right.
And they're assuming, and that somehow, I don't know, passes liability for young people going to certain kinds of sites of adult material and whatnot.
Well, they're going to get there if they want to. If it's on the internet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I've always had an issue with that.
So this is actually like a really creepy version of Pokemon Go, but in like augmented reality. So if you had on your goggles and we're playing Pokemon Go where these things, or like what the Harry Potter game,
right.
where these things just appear in your living room, it's just something scary. So I wonder if they have something like that on your phone you can play.
If Walking Dead has something.
Yeah, I guess so. You have like zombies in your room.
But again, it's not AR.
It's not AR, so it's not as scary because it's on your phone.
Right. Well, a little kid seeing that butcher, who is Scott Ian, right? The guitarist from Anthrax. So cool.
Scott Ian from Anthrax, the guitarist, played the butcher.
He's the butcher holding up the lady's head in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So the youngest daughter actually puts on the goggles, and this zombie comes out and rips its face off from behind the bed, chases her. She's running down the steps. She's on her back screaming, and we see her point of view, and it's eating her. And the mom comes in. Kristen comes in. Like, what are you giving these kids? The kids switch it back to bunnies just in time for her to put it on, say, oh, it's Pokemon Go, but with bunnies.
This is terrible.
And then when they all leave, she puts the goggles back on, and then she takes them off, and you still see the red eyes.
That's creepy.
And that's the intro. All of that was an intro. What in the heck? How long of an intro was that? Oh, it was like almost 15-minute, 14-minute intro.
Minutes,
We have a 14-minute intro. So they're doing, like, psych tests. So he touched the blessed rosary, and it didn't affect him. I'm not sure if he would be able to do that.
It depends on the storytelling. There have been very many vampire stories, demon stories, where either the blessing of the cross doesn't work the way you expect it to, or the person, maybe David, doesn't believe enough that it works. You know, his belief has to be in it for it to work in some stories.
Right.
Or the demon, the vampire, whoever is so old and powerful, they can overcome the tricks.
Just to set this up, she performs the tests, and she says that a way to treat these kids that don't feel these emotions is to basically fake it until you make it. So teach the kids to mimic the emotion, and eventually, hopefully, they learn to actually feel these emotions.
Right.
And my feeling is this is actually teaching them. If you teach them to mimic them, but they don't feel them, that just teach them to manipulate.
Right.
And manipulate others into believing that they're feeling bad or sympathy, whatever it feels like, feeling compassion.
Well, a lot of guys don't show emotion because it's taught as a sign of weakness still.
Right.
Even today. I mean, today that seems such a foolish concept. And in many communities, depending on the family, depending on where they are, that's still very much a part of growing up.
Right.
So now this couple doesn't seem to be that kind of a couple.
No.
The husband seems very, very progressive, liberal, kind of
he's taking care of the baby.
Right. But at the same time, I could see where he never learned social norms. I also see there's a sense of he wants to get better. There's an element there that I feel like he does kind of want to get better. He says, I don't know, when David asks him, do you want to try to get better? But that just might be one of those responses, like a teenage response. Again, the medicine, depression, and everything else that's going on, he's so numbed out.
But is it really effective? And I think it actually backfires on them. In this case, they say, hey, mimic and pretend.
Do you want your kid to be a sociopath? Sign up now.
Teach him how to fake being sad.
That's right.
Pretend that he cares when he really doesn't, and he'll get very far in life.
Yeah. This kid is a bit of a worst case scenario.
Right.
There's also an element, you do what you can, you try your might, but can you save everyone? That's a creepy kid's smile.
He's really good.
Fantastic actor.
He just took a second and he said, just pray on what you want. And he said, will God give it to me? And then he took a second, he thought about what he wanted, and he looked up. That was really well done. I knew something was up at that point.
Yeah.
So we have the girls back at the house. They meet Ben. So the theory of the girls not being alive has been debunked. I'm sorry. And at this point, I think that their storylines are being integrated a little bit too much for the kids not to be alive, to not actually be there. The father, though, that's still to be determined. So the kids meet Ben. A lot of people have been complaining about the girls being too annoying, being too loud. this is what girls act like.
I think it's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah.
And it was actually acknowledged and made fun of. And they actually made fun of the fact that this happens.
And it's drama writing 101. Let's
Because-
lighten it up so that when the creepy thing, scary thing happens, it's you're let your guard down.
Right.
Now, Rose comes in.
Rose 390.
Rose 390. And is that Leland's face that flashes in front? Or
There
is
was a
that
glitch
Anthrax?
in the program, and
Yeah.
you see the face change a little bit.
Right. But I feel like there was a male face that glitched through real quick.
So Ben catches the girls playing the game, and then the girls cop up to playing the game to Kristen, and then he puts on the parental control so they can't play the game, and in the process, when he goes to change the settings, this Rose tries to stop him. So although you can hear the older voice coming in, like a dark voice kind of fading in and
Older
out.
or just like thousands of year demonic
A deeper voice.
We will get you.
Rose says it's not going to work.
Right.
And she's right, because she's able to get right back into the game later on. Is a digital Ouija board just as dangerous as a physical Ouija board?
Right.
When you have a physical object, sometimes these things can possess objects like Annabelle.
Right.
And they say spirits can possess objects. Is it the same if they play with a digital Ouija board than not?
Are the
Because
goggles themselves possessed?
could they possess the goggles by opening up a digital Ouija board? I'm not sure. Ben dismisses Rose as some creepy pedophile. I think he's just making the assumption. He doesn't think that it's anything spiritual.
Right. I don't know at this point.
I don't know what to think either. I knew that he blocked her and she came back. Meanwhile, it seems like Eric is turning a new leaf. He's mowing the lawn. His mom sees him praying in the middle of the night.
Putting on an act to let everybody else's guard down. And this is the first time I really sensed the mother really was just stressed out, not guilty of
Yeah,
other
she
stuff.
seems pretty happy.
Because all of a sudden she's like, oh, my kid's back.
So they get David to come in, talk to him, and we meet a very disturbing, to say the least, discovery. So what happened was the kid is praying in front of the pool. David comes to the pool, talks to the kid, is ready to help him with this comic book art, and makes this gruesome discovery of the baby being wrapped up in a blanket underwater. And he was praying for God to take the baby away.
I was horrified.
My question is, was he doing this to get caught on purpose? Because I think if he really wanted the baby to go away, he could have drowned her much earlier.
I don't think
and
so.
made sure she was in there and made sure she had drowned.
I don't think so.
It seemed almost like an elaborate scheme set up. The way he planned the whole staging of it, and David coming in time, just in time to save her.
I think what debunks that a little bit is the smile. I mean, at first, the smile when David tries to rescue him and jumps in, you get the sense he's smiling like, oh, my plan has come to fruition. But once he hears the baby cry, he starts to feel sick. And it's not guilt. I think he's really upset that his plan didn't work. All of a sudden, the baby's not gone, right? He doesn't look guilty. He doesn't look remorseful. He looks like, oh, I didn't get rid of this kid. Eric's faces throughout this thing really tell the whole story, I think.
Yeah. He's got those dark eyes.
And again, whether it's possession or
Good
psychosis,
casting.
but his smile when David is trying to do CPR on the baby and it looks unsuccessful, but then he looks totally sick when the baby cries, and he's like, oh, I didn't kill this thing. God didn't take him away. He seems so disappointed.
So obviously paramedics are called. At this point, I don't see how the police are not involved. How they are not arresting him for attempting to murder.
Right.
What did the parents tell the police? Because if you told the police this was the case, the older brother tried to drown, I think they would take him away.
Yeah.
I really do. He'd be institutionalized. They should have taken him away at this point.
He should have been gone a long time ago.
He should have, but
Yeah.
this is really bad. Especially paramedics are on the scene.
Right.
They're going to have questions.
So anytime AR goggles turn themselves on, throw them out, burn them, run.
Rose was able to turn on the AR goggles by themselves, wakes up the oldest sister, right? She puts them on, you see bunnies, and Rose brings them back.
I still say the
into-
bunnies are creepy.
Yeah, the bunnies are creepy, but Rose brings them back to the game, tells the girls to finish the game. Girls are hesitant, but you also hear a little bit of the glitching again with Rose's voice dropping. You see her face glitch a little bit too. And they ask about, now how does Rose know about their dad? How does she know anything about where their dad is? That is questionable. Which brings me back to wondering about Leland, because Leland seems to know a little bit about that, or about Kristen and her situation.
Well, that moment where the voice phases a little bit.
Right.
I could hear a little Leland in there, I think.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't just some random stranger on the internet that has found their way. It's either some type of demon, someone that's been monitoring them closely, or
it's one of the 60.
Leland, or one of the 60. Yeah, one of the 60 is asking, where's your dad? And the Ouija board tells them the dad is in heaven, which is also messing with us a little bit because it's unclear, and the show's been very unclear intentionally about where the father is. We've not seen him or heard from him on the phone. We've never seen any interactions.
Right.
So we don't know.
I'm freaked out.
It's definitely freaky. So Kristen assures the girls that dad is fine, and they leave a video message. They send him a video message, but as they're going to sleep, she's still got her eyes open. So the church agrees to do an exorcism. Parents inform them that Eric has gone missing. The mother kind of alludes to sometimes you have to do things to protect your other children. So in not so many words, I think they pretty much spelled out that they took care of Eric. Which, again, raises the questions is how are they going to do that and get away with it? Because usually you don't get away with murdering a child. They say he ran away.
Powerful moment that Michael Coulter, David Acosta, David has that little shake of horror, and it goes from this this shock of, oh my god, they killed him, and then he says it, and then all of a sudden you just sink as that slow walk away, watching one of them at a time, having their moment of processing it.
It cuts to David praying for God to forgive Eric, and then we have Kristen on the couch with the girls, and they seem to be happily watching TV, and then she just gets up and leaves and goes in the kitchen and completely breaks down.
Right.
I think that was a direct response to finally realizing what had happened and not being able to see that coming. We want to hear what you guys think. There are so many theories. We want to hear what you think. Leave a comment down below, let us know, and I will see you in my next video. I am committed to doing these right after they air. From this point on, I'm going to put videos up within a day or two after they air. I know I'm really late on this one.
And for those who haven't heard, Evil has been picked up for season 2.
Yes.
So that's official. Way to go, CBS. Way to go, Evil team. We love you.
And we're going to do a full season here of 13 episodes, I think.
Please keep doing 10 to 13 episode shows.
I think this is good.
CBS and the networks are learning from Netflix and the cable shows. You can tell great stories without a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
But have the time to flesh out the characters, flesh out the stories that you can't in a movie too often. Or just good storytelling, good characters.
Storytelling. This is great.
Yeah.
Because it actually comes on a 10, so you can make it a little bit edgier. If you're on Twitter, you can follow me and tweet along with me. I'm going to try and live tweet. So we'll be back next week, or at least I'll be back. You might be joining me. I don't know. We'll find out if he joins us or not.
Please have me back.
One of us will be back next week doing a recap of next week's episode.
So I have a request. I went looking for this comic because somebody said it's a real comic. I can't find any record of this comic doing the Google thing. So if you have a link to where you could find this comic, Ochre 7, The Final Revival by Lana Gale. I can't find any record of this that it's a real comic. If it is, please reach out. Let us know in the comments below.
Thanks again, guys, for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be doing recaps again next week. I will see you next week.
Ciao.